Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Maddog and Pino NFL review. Two drinking buddies shooting the shit about the NFL.
How you doing tonight, Pino?
Pino's all right. Even the losers get lucky sometime.
They watch the games, break it down for you, and deliver all you need to know from the weekend's action.
That means there were 16 games,
Yeah.
right? So half of them lost, right?
Yeah.
So 32 divided by 2, but
60.
So no, 14 teams have a loss.
What?
Die-hard fan? You'll get all the in-depth analysis behind the scores.
Devontae Adams had 175 yards last week. Well, the other guy, Nico Collins, had 107 yards this week.
Check out the big brain on Brett.
Or just a fan of the NFL spectacle? You'll get all the quirks, follies, and absurd moments from each weekend's action.
If he took a shotgun snap, by the time he caught it, he could smell the Starbucks on Micah Parsons' breath.
We got the shit kicked out of us from the moment they walked out of the tunnel.
So, join us now for the insights, laughs, and chaos that is the Maddog and Pino NFL review. Now your hosts...
Hey, everybody. I'm Maddog. I'm here with Pino, and we are going to do the Maddog and Pino NFL review for the final time in the 24-24 season. This is our Super Bowl review. How you doing, Pino?
Pino's good. What a bummer that it's like the Super Bowl, like we're done now. We have like the combine and all the bullshit about the draft.
Yeah, but hope springs eternal now, though. I mean, come on.
No, it does. Hey, everybody's 0-0
Exactly.
right now. No, doing great. It was Valentine's Day week. Like we're doing this as almost like a happy hour.
Yes.
On a Friday.
Yes.
So we're a couple days behind, and that's Pino's fault.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's
had to get this crown fixed. And then I don't even know what my excuse was yesterday.
I don't know.
But here we are. So yeah, doing great. I thought like we couldn't do Valentine's Day, which was what, Wednesday?
Yeah, but
as Mad Dog told me, like every day's Valentine's Day at the Carey House.
That's right, man.
I know that. And like we might have to rush this thing out at the end because they got like the 18th birthday party for Leslie tonight.
Yeah, well,
hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. So happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly. All right, so I think before we get into the game, so Pino and I in our massive pre-production prep for
oh
this,
yeah, we're doing this for fucking 12 hours.
We decided that if you want to hear what actually happened in the game play by play, then
don't listen to us.
Exactly, don't listen to us. A, you should never listen to us, but B, it's fucking Friday after the Super Bowl, so I'm like, you know what, we will touch on the game, we will get to our viewpoint on the game and its implications and all that, but it ain't gonna be like play by play.
No, we're not gonna we're not breaking down like, hey, they were in a shell cover zero shell,
exactly.
Like that kind of playing man.
Exactly.
And Pino's almost out of his White Russian.
I thought you were getting another one.
No, we may have to take a break.
we actually may have to, I'll just riff until you get back. Right? All right, so I thought we'd do. So the game was. We'll get to the game. It turned out to be a great game. It went into overtime. When you reflect back, it'll be cited as one of the better Super Bowls, if not one of the best, because of the overtime thing. But anyway, before we get to the game, first Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and do you think that, like, if you told someone, if you could go back in a time machine, you could tell someone 10 years ago?
I would say no. Like, I don't even know. I could anticipate your question, but I would say absolutely fucking not.
Like, pick your time frame, but it could be as early as 5 years ago. Like, maybe 5, because actually maybe even fucking 5, to be honest. But certainly 10. Certainly 10. There's no way. No way.
Ask Paul Hornung.
Exactly. That's a reference that none of our listeners are going to get.
He was number 5 for the Green Bay
I
Packers
know,
on the frozen tundra.
He
gambled.
A little gambling problem.
But now you can gamble fucking on anything.
All right. So that was my second kind of point before we get to the game. Gambling is obviously legal in Nevada and Las Vegas, where $185 million were bet this year, and that beat the record, which I think was last year at 170.
Was that legally bet?
In Vegas? So
in Vegas, okay.
Sportsbook. Okay. So, but that's a great point and a great segue to like, all right, that's only a fraction of like the actual betting on the game.
Yeah, like you probably bet 120 million with your bookie.
just myself. It was a good weekend for Maddog.
Maddog had a good weekend, exactly. even though fuck those squares.
Exactly. So the estimates are that, and a lot of this has to do with the spread of legalized gambling and DraftKings and FanDuel becoming more,
kind of like Fannie Willis and her boy, like they just paid each other in cash.
Right.
Like there's no,
so
no paper trail, no paper trail.
But this astounded me. So the estimates, who knows where they get these, but $23 billion were bet legally and illegally on the game this year. And that is up from 16 billion again by their estimates just last year. So that's you got to get a piece of that business. If that was a stock, it'd be tripling, and it'd be like Nvidia right now.
Yeah, like Zelensky would have been fucking fired up. Like
Exactly.
that was half of the 60 bill he wants.
All right, so
that's a lot of money.
That is. So anyway, so gambling's obviously, we've talked about this throughout the year. Gambling's certainly it's right in the fiber of the NFL.
It's gonna ruin the sport. I'm telling you.
As soon as someone as soon as there's a number shaving thing or something, it's gonna be bad. There's bad.
As we always learn in school, unintended consequences.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and the ratings this year, again, great game. It turned out to be a great game, but 123 million people on average, I think that's the way to say it, watched the game.
Or had their eyeballs on it?
Yeah, on average, at any given point in time, there's 123 million people watching it.
No, is that like 2 eyeballs, or do you divide it by 2?
Well, it's all about the eye discipline,
Like I can only see out of one eye unless I have my contact in. So I'm only one.
You only count a half. Last year was 114, so that's crazy. And the more crazy thing is, 202 million people watch some portion of the game. So and this is all United States. So when you think about that, that's 2/3 of everybody in the United States.
Right, like we have 340 million. Million people living here, right? Give or take. That doesn't count the migrants.
Right, of course. So maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe the other one does.
The undocumented Americans.
Anyway.
I'm getting very political.
Exactly. Anyway, that's kind of astounding. But anyway, so that was my opening remarks around the, framing the game and what it was and where it's, gotten to,
How long do you think that it takes? Because every year right before the Super Bowl, the conversation comes up about hey, Monday after the Super Bowl should be a holiday, right? And everyone talks about it. It's the one day that
play the game on Saturday. Together. Play the game on Saturday. Then
do you think that's going to happen?
No, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you why.
What are we going to trade off? What do we trade off? Probably Columbus Day. Some American Italians.
I don't know, I don't know.
But you know what I mean? Every year it comes up.
20 million people calling 6 and that thing.
Right, it's the least productive day in the history of business.
Exactly. So I don't know how much we're actually losing, to be honest.
No one gives a shit. They're just fuck it, it is what it is. Call out sick, take your PTO. Doesn't matter.
All right, so I think we can go to the game now, unless you want to talk about kind of the macro, some other things that happen relative to the game.
The only thing, because I didn't
I think we can get to most of those.
So Mad Dog pocked us all and went to Thousand Oaks to have his usual Super Bowl party. So
that is true. So poor Pino was watching it from deaf.
I was fucking watching an analog TV. But I did see the Christopher Walken commercial.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that dude. And every time I see the dude, the only thing I think of is hey, Butch, I put this watch in your daddy's asshole. We weren't going to let them gooks I can't even do. I can't do justice.
You're quoting the movie.
I can't do justice to that Pulp Fiction.
I did have one more point to make about gambling before we get in. So it was a really good day for me gambling because I was Chiefs and under all the way. But here's the weird thing that happened. So I like not to get too deep into it.
So you had the Chiefs, you got points.
I got Chiefs +2. I bet a money line 2, and I had the under. So the under was 47.5. And I bet 47.5, but then I wanted to bet more on the under.
Oh,
and my bookie wouldn't let me do it. But
just because of your glasses.
So I had to call him and have him up my limit so I could bet more on the under. By the time I did that, I went to 47.
Maddog's incriminating himself right now.
The game ended at 47 points.
Right.
So anyway, I pushed. At least I didn't lose. Anyway, all right. So. I don't know.
Let's get into the game.
Just get into the game. All right, so I kind of buried the lead. We have both buried the lead a little bit, but the Chiefs won the game 25-27.
Here's the one thing. You don't ever want to go up on the Chiefs in a big game or a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like there was a lot of the before the game about how the Chiefs were now the villain, and before they weren't, and now they're like. But it is the same thing. You learn to hate people that like always fucking do the thing that you don't want to do.
But do you view them as a villain? Like in Mahomes? Like I mean, I definitely do Kelsey.
I was gonna say
Kelsey for sure. But like, what about Mahomes?
No, I don't. I think Mahomes is likable and
he's beyond
and fucking amazing. So yeah,
he's beyond likable.
I don't have near the fucking hatred for him that I had for Tom Brady.
The Pats. Yeah. Right? Yeah. No, I totally agree.
And Andy Reid to Bill Belichick. Oh my God, I like that
right,
yeah. Andy Reid. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it's hard to. Like Kelsey and Gronk, I'd rather go with Gronk
because we called Andy Reid out like 4 years ago when he was Andrew Reid in the punt pass competition.
He's come a long way since then.
Like I think he went to high school with Leslie, right? Is he going to be at the birthday dinner tonight?
I don't know. Oh, hopefully. All right, getting back to the game. So it was a boring, i.e. defensive struggle actually for most of the game.
Yeah, the first half for sure.
And yeah, so the first half ended 10-3, and we can get into a little bit of how we got there. But I was surprised at how great the San Francisco defense is playing. Coached by Steve Wilkes, by the way, so we can cover that in a second. But
yeah,
because they didn't look good the last month, and even Chase Young, who was like, they were like, what the fuck did we get this guy for? Had like a sack and a tackle for loss in the first quarter. Shit. So I'm like, holy shit, they really rose to the occasion. And it's hard to say that, even again, they let up 25 points, but that was including overtime and fucking a drive at their own 7-yard line or whatever it was. It's hard to say they didn't play a fucking amazing game. And yet Steve Wilkes gets fired at the end, like today, he got fired. And I at one point I texted you and Matt up. I'm like, Steve Wilkes is out coaching Andy Reid because like he had every answer for everything the Chiefs wanted to do. So it's kind of weird that he got fired. So I don't know if he's a scapegoat. I know there's that theory, but I think it's just like, I don't know. Shanahan's like trying to figure out a way to make his team better, and he thinks he's a weak link. I don't know.
It seems to me like it's a scapegoat for sure. Like, because when you look at it, so they shut out Kansas City in the first half, right?
Yeah,
so they gave up a field goal.
They gave a field goal at the very end. It was time.
And then in the third quarter, they gave up a touchdown because of the muff punt.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think that was in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
and so if you hold, in theory, if you hold Kansas City.
They held them to 19 points in regulation.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you hold them, I think your defense played well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And the fact of the matter is they didn't run the ball in the third quarter.
So we'll get to that. Let's kind of do it a little methodically. So I was also surprised.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, well, you're jumping to the third quarter already. I'm like, all right. So anyway, So someone's got to keep.
Let's bring in Shefty.
The train's on the fucking track here.
Let's bring in Shefty.
So I was also impressed by the San Francisco offense. Like, I mean, Purdy, you thought he was going to come out, like, at the very least, even if he played well, you thought it'd be like, all right, deer in the headlights, at least for a few series.
And he wasn't.
For a first series. And he wasn't. The first drive, he drove him right down the field. And then McCaffrey fumbled at the 27. So, like, if you're a 49er fan, after the first few drives, you're feeling pretty good. Like, we're moving the ball, and
we're shutting them down.
KC had no fucking offense whatsoever. Until KC did drive the ball, and then Pacheco, they drove the ball all the way to the 49er, like 8-yard line or something. But and then Pacheco fumbled the ball and gave it back to him. But the whole point of that is, like, nothing happened with any of that. There was turnovers, and no one was scoring any points.
Yeah, it was like 3 and out. Like,
exactly.
Like it would stop you in the red zone, that kind of thing.
And then San Francisco did put together a drive. I forget how long it was, but Christian McCaffrey scored the first touchdown. He was actually the favorite to score the first touchdown. I actually had him, but I bet a whole bunch of other things, so I lost a little bit on that. Anyway, so that put him up 10-0. And then KC drove down 65 yards, gets a field goal. Now it's 10-3. Now, what do you want to say? It's 10-3 at halftime.
Right. And then it was like 85 minutes later. Like, Usher had to get on roller skates.
Where did the roller skates come from, man?
I remember my dad. I always heard about, God rest his soul. He was a big skater in Newark.
Yeah,
like like dancing on the skates and shit like that. But
ice skating, ice skating or roller skating.
Roller skating,
no
like not on single blades, but like with the 2x2s,
yeah, exactly.
Like Usher had. That was the longest fucking halftime I ever remember.
So, in part because no, it actually wasn't.
Well, because you were in Thousand Ocean, like, don't get the fuck out of here.
It wasn't a bad halftime show as far as they go, but like I didn't know what, like I kept waiting to, like, all right, where's the dun, 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 dun. Where's that song? Like, that's the only song I know by Usher.
Is that a song by him?
Yeah.
Like I have to admit, like
it's the number one stripper song of all time.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No,
all right,
number one stripper song is "Knocking Me Out with Those American Thighs." Take it on, man. So I got to admit this. I slept through the halftime show. I took a nap. So I can't really comment on it. I should in my job as Pino, but I have no comment on it. I did see the highlights on the roller skates.
Yeah. But
I still go down thinking the best stripper song is "Take It Along and Stand."
There's a few others. Candy Shop.
Yeah, like we can
go down that road.
On and on.
The rest of the podcast is us.
Yes, indeed we can. Yes. Not that I've ever been.
Exactly. I hear, right? I hear. All right, so it's halftime. The Chiefs just scored in the last, time, no time remaining. So you're like, they're going to get 2 for 1. They get the ball back. And then Mahomes fucking throws an interception on the first drive. And me personally, having bet the fucking Chiefs, was like,
you're like fucking losing your mind, right?
Like, ruh-roh, this is not going to end well. But then again, the defenses fucking step up. There's 3 punts and 3
Dude, their corners, those 2 young corners are fucking great.
Yeah, no, they are. And I was pretty, I was impressed by both defenses, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in there, we probably missed it already, but speaking of defenses, the strength of the 49ers defense is their inside linebackers. They have Fred Warner and they have Dwight Greenwald,
and he got hurt running out the field, right?
So when that happened, if you're Kyle Shanahan, you're like, oh, fuck,
here we fucking go again.
The fucking curse is on again.
I may as well have fucking who's the quarterback in Atlanta?
Desmond. Oh, you mean Matty?
Yeah, Matty. I may as well roll Matty Ice out there.
So yeah, Dre Greenlaw was so excited to get back on the field after
tore his fucking Achilles running off the silly, off the sidelines.
It's I don't want to laugh, but it was like when it first happened, I'm like, oh man, I feel so bad for that guy. But at the same time, it was like, that's fucking funny. It's like amusing in the sense of like, how can that fucking possibly happen?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, the 49ers continue to play good defense, but yeah, you did get the feeling that the Chiefs were just hanging around. You can't let the Chiefs hang around. You at least have to like get a couple score lead against them, and then maybe stand a chance or whatever. But so the KC scored a field goal. It was 10-6, and they were just hanging around.
Let me ask you a question. Did you at any point in that second half think that Kansas City was going to lose that game? I didn't.
Right after Mahomes threw the interception, but after that, no.
Yeah,
after that, no. when that didn't hurt them, and then they eventually took the field goal. They got a field goal to make it within one score. Then I was like, all right, this is going to fall their way. And then, so that gets us to the biggest play of the game, which is the KC kicked the field goal. Like I said, it was 10-6. Punts, whatever. KC punts. And again, this is, I mean, if you're Kyle Shanahan, you got to be like, we're fucking cursed. So like, when you watch it live, you think...
And that was such a fluke, right?
Exactly. When you watch it live, you think the fucking idiot, like, returner, like, just muffed it or, like, tried to grab a ball that was, like, clearly he shouldn't have tried to grab. But it turns out it hit the blocker's leg, and then he did...
And his heel, not even his leg. Like, I mean, it was that... As my old man used to say, it was a snatch hand.
And so he did make the mistake of not falling out. He tried to pick it up. But anyway, that gave the KC the ball at the 17. One play later, touchdown MVS. It was 13-10 Kansas City. So at that point, to your point, I'm like, all right, well, KC's going to fucking probably run away with this now. And to San Francisco's credit, they answered. They had a 12-play drive, and it was like a balls out drive. Like they drove it all the way down the field. They got to 4th and 3 at the.
Was that when Kittle made that catch?
Yeah, exactly, at the 12 or something. They converted that, so that was a ballsy fucking call. He could have just kicked the field goal to tie it. Actually, right. So they call that, and then they call this crazy trick play where Jennings throws a touchdown across the field, and McCaffrey, I think. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, that was on that drive?
Yeah, it was on that drive.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So they do all of that, and they...
and that ball was in the air for a long fucking time.
Sure was. But they take the lead 16-13. And then... But
there you go.
But Moody misses the extra point. It was blocked, actually.
Because of that mustache.
So... I'm like, so you know what? When I was doing my all right, here's the edge. I didn't even fucking include kicking, but I probably should have because I knew Moody was going to fucking miss a kick somewhere in that game, and he didn't. Well, he got blocked, but he made like long field goals. So I was going to come back to that. So then it was field goal, whatever. But San Francisco, Moody redeemed themselves. He kicked a 53-yarder. KC had the ball, and they drove the ball right down the field. They had a chance to win the game. Didn't kick the field goal. So now we're at overtime.
Like Buckner. Like, is it any more clutch? Like,
dude, he is fucking amazing. Like,
he the bomb.
All right.
I hope Mahomes got him like a fucking golf cart. Like he got the offensive lineman.
All right.
For Christmas.
Exactly. Guy never fucking
you
misses.
should get that.
All right. So then it's OT. And 49ers, I guess, being the visiting team, whatever, they get to call it. They win the toss.
Yeah, because they called it at the opening of the game.
Right. So they win the toss. And then they decide to take the ball, which again, when they did that, I didn't like,
fuck, that makes sense. Their defense had just been on the field for like 75 fucking plays.
Exactly. It makes sense to me.
It made a ton of sense.
Didn't really think it was like that big a deal. And then they drive the ball downfield. They get a field goal. They got relatively close to a touchdown, but. So that was the decision they made. And then of course, Mahomes is Mahomes. You gave him like 6 minutes to fucking score a touchdown.
No, but there was and that was the thing that confused me. Like, it wasn't 6 minutes.
Well, it was
4 minutes. He had as much time as they needed, as long as they didn't get stopped.
No,
In overtime. In overtime.
No.
Yeah, dude. That's why, like, when they scored the touchdown, the winning touchdown, and like there were 6 seconds, 5, 4, 3, like it was just
All right.
running down.
Turns out I don't understand.
Are we in overtime yet?
Yeah, we're in overtime.
Okay. So here's the deal in overtime. Each team gets 2 possessions.
No, that's absolutely not true.
No, that's the new rules.
Oh shit! Then I guess I don't understand the rules.
Oh, dude, you totally don't.
All right, so explain to our listeners.
So,
the rules.
what did you think? Like when
I thought each team had to get the ball, which happens,
right?
So, like, if it were the old rules, San Francisco,
there should be no clock. There should be no clock.
San Francisco would have won the game in the old rules. They kicked the field goal, game over.
Right, but the new rules are
Kansas City gets exactly. Kansas City gets the ball, but there's still a time.
No, but that's the deal. There should be the clock should be off. Like, what were you thinking when the Chiefs called the play? Right, they're in the huddle, and fucking the clock is at like 6, 5, 4, 3.
I wasn't paying that much attention.
Right. Like, if they didn't, and that was like first or second down. If they didn't score then, then they just went to the other side, and they would have 2 more downs.
No, well, they didn't score then. The game was over.
No, it wasn't.
Otherwise,
why the fuck? Why
they
would
get
they
2
call a
possessions?
timeout?
They get 2 possessions,
dude. They did. They would not.
All right, so
they would not have gotten 2.
Listen, I'm very embarrassed. I don't know these rules because
they would not have gotten 2 possessions.
Well, I guess I'm just like the San Francisco 49 players.
Yeah, like fuck. What are you in the analytics department for Kyle Shanahan? Dude, they would not have gotten 2 possessions.
I know.
They would have kept that possession.
I understand.
Otherwise, because when I was watching it, I was like,
but if they don't score, the game's over.
No, that's why. That's what fucking freaked me out. Like, I was like, why are they not calling timeout? Like you run a play with 6 seconds left, right?
Right.
They let the clock run down because it was first or second down, so they had 2 more downs.
Yeah, they hit. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But if they don't score, the game's over.
Oh my God!
No. If they stopped them on 4th down, the game is over.
That wasn't 4th down.
I know, but if they did, the game is over.
Yes,
right, that's all I'm saying.
But they would have
got fucking saying.
But they would have gotten 2 more downs.
That's fine. But what you said is like they just no. Then San Francisco gets the ball back. I'm like, they don't get the fucking ball. The game's fucking over.
They don't need the ball back.
I know because the game's over.
Right, because
that's all I was saying.
And that's why there shouldn't be a clock. Like, there's no reason to have a clock.
All right.
So
anyway, so there's some confusion.
No, that's anticlimactic.
There's some confusion at overtime.
We'll come back and readdress this at the combine.
It turns out that it didn't matter, and they fucking scored a touchdown and won the game 25-22. Like I said, that's 47 points. So I pushed on a bunch of fucking underbets I couldn't get in the morning. But anyway. And it was it was a weird thing. Is like it's weird how people kind of step up in the MVS caught a touchdown pass. I don't think he caught a touchdown pass all year. McCole Hardman was fucking shipped off to the Jets, and then they got him back somehow.
Right.
He caught the game-winning touchdown. And all that bullshit about the Chiefs not having wide receivers. Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter when you have Mahomes. Like, they proved it. They proved it 2 years in a row.
I think I said it the last time we did a podcast. Like, how do you bet against Mahomes? You can't. Right? You can't.
All right. So
and then we didn't even talk about there was a 4th and 1 or 2.
Yeah. So
on that drive.
I actually wrote down.
And Mahomes ran.
Yeah, he ran for 8 yards.
3 yards or whatever the fuck it was.
They had 4 third or fourth downs. They were 3 for 4 on that drive, and they missed on 3rd and converted it on 4th. So they on that one drive. That's crazy to win. To win the Super Bowl. That's crazy.
Right, and he that's why he is so fucking how do you bet against him?
I don't know. You know what? Yes, I don't know how you do, but there are other teams
there's no Daniel Jones.
No fucking Kenny Pickett either.
If Daniel Jones didn't hurt his shoulder, he could have done the same thing.
All right, what else? Oh, all right. So this was a stupid topic, but you know what? Just since we're here, the going into and coming out of like a hot take was like, are the Chiefs a dynasty? I'm like, fuck yeah, they're a fucking dynasty. Where were you fucking?
Of course they are. They went back to back fucking Super Bowl.
Went back to back. They were fucking 3 out of 4. Like, yeah,
like Mahomes was like, is it 3 out of 4 rings he's got?
Yeah, 3 out of. Yeah. Well, since he's been a starter, 3 out of 5. I guess. Yeah, 3 out of 5, I think. But anyway.
And they don't need to score 35 points anymore.
No, their defense.
They just need to be close, and then he'll win the game.
That's the thing that, like, again, we're talking about Mahomes, and of course, you give him the ball, drive 75 yards to win, he's going to fucking do it. But their defense is the reason that team is fucking there.
And the beauty of him, watching him, I think one of the reasons he's not, I don't think he like comes off as a villain, or at least for me, I don't view him as a villain, is like he runs like fucking Fred Flintstone.
He does.
Right, going there like, Frantic City, Frantic City. Like with Barney Rubble and the fucking Moose Lodge. It doesn't even look like he's running. But when he does take off, like, yeah. I thought that once, after they picked up the 4th down.
Yeah, no, he had a great scramble.
He had that big scramble. I thought, like, it's going to be a walk-off scramble.
No, seriously, like, it was close. Right. Yeah.
But I've had enough of Kelsey.
Yeah, so Kelsey did 2 things at the actual Super Bowl. Who knows what else he did? But like, all right, so he got in Andy Reid's face. And,
it almost knocked him over.
And they kind of blew it off. It's like, oh yeah, I have a great relationship.
He's passionate.
With Kelsey and all that, but like, fuck that shit. He's a fucking player, and he just fucking bumps.
Have you ever seen a player?
No, not that's still on the team the next day.
Yeah, like almost knock over a head coach.
No, I thought that was complete bullshit.
LT never knocked over Parcells.
No, well, that's because he probably couldn't.
But yeah, like he was like, I'm gonna go do some blow.
And then as Pino was just pointing out at the whatever what do they call it, the ceremony,
parade.
He's like, "Viva Las Vegas." I'm like, Jesus, sorry, we've had enough of you now. Go away.
He's a more obnoxious me. Like with all his singing and shit. Like, because apparently, like he was singing at the parade the other day. Prior to the shooting,
our hearts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
We should have opened up with that. But anyway, that was tragic and
thoughts and prayers. That's why I went to fucking I got ashes on Wednesday. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
But I think he even sang Wednesday.
He did?
Like, yeah.
I'm sure he did.
Don't give him a goddamn microphone anymore.
All right, but I guess we can't get through a podcast without at least mentioning Taylor Swift. So she did come down from her press. She did fly. First of all, she flew God bless her. I mean, she's so amazing. She flew all the way from Tokyo.
She's so amazing. Wow, man, did she fucking put some effort in?
She flew all the way from Tokyo after a long show. And then got there Saturday night.
Did she fly to Vegas or LA?
She flew into LA to like regroup, and then
she get a car ride out.
No, then she did take a private jet.
Oh, they had a parking spot for her?
I guess, I don't know. Anyway, so she got to Vegas, and you know what? It was pretty gratuitous. CBS did not pull back at all. There's a bunch of shots of her in the box, whatever. But what I will say is, I agree with your thoughts on Kelsey, but she went down the field and it was like a genuine. She was like happy for her fucking boyfriend. That
maybe they're in love. Good for them.
I don't know. It seemed like a genuine moment.
Yeah, she had that nice choker on, right? Yes. Like I saw that in the box. I wish it just said Mikey, or maybe forget Mikey if it just said Pino.
That'd be even better. All right.
I'd be in Tokyo like a motherfucker.
So, do you want to talk about some off-season shit?
Let's do it.
You want to tease?
How much time we got left? You got to go to dinner.
We got plenty of time. All right. So, I limited this to just quarterbacks because you know how it is a quarterback league and quarterbacks are
quarterback driven.
Yeah. So, we're gonna go through I don't know maybe 10 of them, and discuss where we think they'll end up and why. How about that? Something like that.
I'm with you. I'll riff with you,
so
brother.
The first category is free agents or likely to be cut. or I'm sorry, or likely to be traded.
And that changed today,
It did.
right? Didn't it?
I don't know.
With Jimmy G.
Oh, he's not even on the list.
Dude, they're fucking gonna release him.
but that's the release list. I don't even.
I'm breaking news.
So, all right, since Pino brought it up, Jimmy G apparently has been hitting the steroids,
Hitting the Botox.
But he's now been suspended for 2 games for violating the PED policy.
2 games would tell you that it's really nothing,
Right.
right? Because usually it's a 4-game suspension.
Right.
But like if you're like substance abuse or like
Although-
performance enhancing,
the
or
Raiders,
if you're A-Rod, then it's 122 games.
although the Raider fans will be like, "Oh, they only gave him 2 games because he sucks."
Right? Yeah, and they're but then what I read in the Athletic is not only like they're going to release him.
They have to release him,
Yeah,
even if they re-sign him, which actually might make some sense. But
but he's still handsome.
yeah, he's still handsome. Yeah.
He might say, "Fuck it, I'm just retiring. I'm going to hang out in Vegas, and
Exactly.
fucking
With all my boys.
play fucking slot machines and get laid."
All right.
All right, what else you got?
Number one domino, not number one, one of the number one dominoes in the QB
Oh,
carousel
domino!
is Kirk Cousins. All right, Kirk Cousins is 36, I think, coming off an Achilles injury, and he is a free agent. The last 2 contracts he's signed have been fully guaranteed at roughly $100 million. What do you do? And who do you think? So, do you think the Vikings are? Do you think he ends up at the Vikings? I guess.
I think he stays there because they're not picking high in the draft.
Right.
He's not going to get what he thinks he's worth because, like, at that age, coming off an Achilles,
He'll get another $100 million guaranteed contract for 3 years, in my opinion. Because, like, listen, he's only 30.
yeah, but if
36.
it's $100 million over 3 years in
Yeah.
the quarterback market, that's a bargain.
That's a bargain, exactly. So probably higher than that, but and it'll be fully guaranteed because that's the only deals he's done.
Right.
Whatever. All right. So he's in the Vikings.
And does he get to go on Netflix again?
No, it's one. It's kind of like Hard Knocks. You can't,
Okay.
you can't come back until you've been out of the playoffs. I'm joking. I have no idea. But all right, Baker Mayfield. He had a great year. One of the best bargains in the NFL this year. There is one other, which we'll get to in a second. But he was $7 million, I think, with incentives.
They re-signed him.
All right, so they re-signed him. So
Who do you think?
Yeah, I think so. So if the average, I think this is fair. Average quarterback deal that's not on a rookie contract is 30. Let's just say it's 30.
Right. He signs for less than that.
Yeah.
Do
you
you
think
think?
he signs less than that? Yeah, maybe.
Don't you think?
I don't know, man.
I don't think he's I don't think he's a $40 million a year guy.
It's yeah, maybe. It's probably like the
And in the NFL right now, if you can get a quarterback that's like, in the 30 million per,
yeah,
then that's a bargain.
That actually
that's a
plays.
bargain, right? Yeah, right. That's
plays
right. That's a bargain.
Right. All right. So those are primary free agents. The likely to be traded or cut, I guess, are Justin Fields. So Justin Fields, Bears have the number 1 pick. And
The Bears.
And well, actually, they don't. They actually, and Justin Fields. Someone by March, I think they had to make a decision. Someone has to make a decision whether they pick up his 5th-year option, which would be like 24 or
Right.
something. So, don't you think they just trade him at this point? Like,
I think it's a no-brainer.
they've
that
seen
they trade
enough,
him.
right?
I think it's like even if they think they haven't seen enough,
Right.
it
They'll
would
get,
appear
they'll
to me
get, they'll
like
get another.
then you get a
huge
rookie,
right,
a quarterback on a rookie contract.
right.
Maybe generational Caleb Williams, Drake May,
Yeah,
whoever the
who
fuck
knows?
it is.
Yeah.
And get draft picks for him.
So
How do you not
alright.
do that?
So I'll play the other side because the Steelers have been rumored to be interested,
Right,
which I don't think they are. But anyway, I think you have to trade like a second or a third, and that's it. By the way, I think that's all you have to trade.
Okay.
But then you have to commit to his 5th-year option, which is like that you got to be
And like, what's
committed? You got to be committed to Justin Fields.
and his 5th-year options in like the 20 mil
Yeah, be like
range,
20,
right?
Yeah. So you get 2 years of Justin Fields, reasonably priced probably before you.
I think if you're the Bears, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think you get him out of there, and then but you're not. But there's not this huge draft haul that they're going to get for Justin.
Right?
Fields.
They're not. It's not like they're going to get 4 number ones and all that kind of shit.
And then I'll just throw it because he's going to be cut. But Russell Wilson is going to be cut. And the only thing that's interesting about Russell Wilson is he can play for nothing next year because the Broncos aren't.
They're going to have to pay that.
Broncos
contract,
aren't
right?
Pay him $40 million. You can get him for a fucking song,
right?
So,
just because Sean Payton hates him,
exactly. So I don't know. I don't know where he fits, and obviously Russell ain't probably in his mind. He's not going to compete for a starting job.
Yeah, but like when you look at teams like Washington, like there's places that he could fit and elevate them pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, I think there's a market for him for sure. And like I said, you don't have to pay anything for him.
Right.
Like,
I think Sean Payton's hubris.
Yeah.
That's what I might.
So he actually statistically at least played pretty well this year. All right, so those are the free agents who are likely to be traded. The should you extend, and if you do, how long and how much, I guess. So the number one person on that list is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott counts 60. It's actually not quite 60. I think it's 59.7 or some bullshit.
Check Maddog over to Cap. Maddog over to Cap.com.
$59.7 million against what will be like a $240-50 million cap. Probably.
They're going to have to extend him, so they can restructure.
So they do. So then that's the question. So like, all right, so they had trouble extending him last time. He certainly played. I mean, Cowboy fans would argue this, but he played up to that contract.
Yes, FD, he's not happy.
So I think like this could be like a kind of massive extension. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Be prepared, Cowboy fans. You're not gonna like fucking like. You're not gonna eat us. You gotta extend CD Lamb. You gotta extend Micah Parsons. All of which clears a little bit of. Actually, no, that does not clear any cap. Anyway. They got to deal with him.
No, it just adds to their cap problems, those guys.
Exactly. So, anyways, it's just like I don't know. So I'm really interested to see what happens with Dak. The next most interesting one is Tua. So Tua they already exercised his 5th-year option, so he's playing on his 5th-year option this year, and all indications are they want to extend him. I know that sends Dolphins fans into a tailspin. But like, all right, so the knock on him primary knock was he can't stay
injured, right?
He played 17 games this year, 18 games this year, played well, like really well statistically again. Every big game he was in, he fucking disappeared and lost. So I don't know if you're the Dolphins, if the average is 5 years and $150 million for an extension, what do you do with Tua?
Right, and like, because where are they picking?
So yeah, they're picking 20.
Right, they're down like
22nd.
They're going to have to extend him, and they're going to have to pay him.
That's what I think. Yeah. So and that market's just going to keep going up and up. So here's another one, Jared Goff.
Do you think it's ever going to reset like the quarterback market, where they just go like,
no,
you know what, they're not worth $45 million a year?
No, because all the trends are the opposite, right? Like you have to get one to compete. They're protecting them more and more, and I don't know if it'll happen, but they could have like a salary cap specific thing for quarterbacks.
What about Daniel Jones? What about Daniel Jones?
He's not last year he was number one. Should we extend him or not? All right, Jared Goff. He's playing. He has one more year on his contract at like 27 or some bullshit. So that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, they got to extend him.
Got to extend him, and it'll probably be.
But if they don't extend him, what's
I think,
right?
But I think it'll be in like the 40 million-ish range, maybe even more. But
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then
considering what is the total cap? Like 220 million.
Yeah, I think it's because of gambling, because
Right.
of like all this other shit. It's probably 240, 250 next year or something like
Right,
that.
and then you get a guy that's like fucking eats up a third of the cap. Like, what position? Like, how does that make sense?
It doesn't. That's why we're gonna get to this in a second. So the only two I want to mention are Trevor Lawrence is eligible for an extension for the first time. Don't know what they do with that. I mean, I think.
Where's he? He's in Dallas.
No, Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, the Prince. You should have just said the Prince.
I should have just said the Prince. So I don't know what they do with him. And then the real.
I was thinking about Trey Lance. I got it mixed up.
The real interesting one is Jordan Love. So Jordan Love accepted this shitty extension last year for like $14 million for this year. He obviously played well above that. And so I think Jordan Love is going to be an interesting one to watch because they somewhat limited sample size, but he looks like the real deal.
Yeah, like he knocked it out the park.
He could blow up the fucking bank next year if you watch.
Oh, was it only like a 2-year extension?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was, and really cheap too. It was like fucking. I think he played for $14 million.
Well, yeah, that's in the quarterback market. That's nothing.
Exactly. And then the final one is just to point out, like we're talking about, we're throwing around 40s and 50s and like fucking 30s and like
40, 50. Get the bag. Get the bag.
All right, Brock Purdy, who has led his team to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, will make $1 million next year and is not eligible under the CBA for an extension.
1 million with an M.
Are you kidding me? That kid is like, oh, please don't let me have a career-ending injury.
Right. But you know what's interesting, dude, is that like watching that game, we didn't talk. Like I didn't bring this up as we discussed the game. He missed like 2 big throws as Jimmy G did in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like guys wide open in the end zone, and missed them. But I think he accounted himself well.
No, I thought he played well.
And if like you're paid $1 million, like
well, that's why the 49ers should be like,
right. We got a bargain. What a bargain!
Exactly. They should load up this run it back plus add, next year. So, all right, that's all I got, man. I don't know. There's other. So we got the combine coming up. I'm already, Pino and I are already like deep into fucking player teams.
Yeah, we're like I'm mock drafting like a motherfucker.
so we'll
and I texted you and Mike. I do have my new favorite player in the NFL based on the mock draft.
He ends up in the Steelers.
Like Kool-Aid, Winfrey. Like the dude's first name is Kool-Aid. I think he's related to
Plaxico?
Fannie Willis. So yeah, we'll be back with our mock drafts.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll hear from us at some point, probably multiple points before opening day. But
Pino may even just sign on and start waxing.
I'm thinking that too. Like maybe we just like we don't have to do a whole fucking get up with the fucking horse and everything. We just do like telling the listeners what we're thinking every once in a while.
There you go. I'm down.
All right, guys.
All right, it's such a bummer that the fucking NFL season's over and we're gonna win. Like, I hate the fact that every year I'm like I just blow off my summer. Like I want my summer to end.
It's coming again.
Right. And so here we are.
Well, good news is
G-Man, Big Blue.
Good news is pitchers and catchers reported yesterday.
Yeah, whatever. Like fucking whatever.
Oh man. All right, well, it's been a great season. We hope you have enjoyed our tidbits and our insights and our craziness and chaos. But
and you better have.
If you
so
have
make sure you subscribe and or like.
Yes.
Whether it's and please go to YouTube and subscribe and go to Spotify and follow.
Yes. All right.
All right. Peace out. Daniel Jones.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show, and follow us on social media to stay in the loop with all things Maddog and Pino. Until next time, keep those ice cubes jiggling.